You're listening to AI Fueled Growth, where smart entrepreneurs learn to grow faster with AI. Hosted by Ryan and Zach, this show discusses AI and how to build your brand and business. Let's get into it.
Well, Zach, we're back with AI Fueled Growth, and today I thought we'd talk about creating a strategic marketing plan.
Nice. You've done a lot of those.
We've done quite a few. But usually I do them.
Yeah, I'm not really involved.
And then I hand them off to you and say, please execute this plan.
Yeah.
So I thought, what better way to train you on how we do strategic marketing plans than to do it in public, in front of a camera?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Vulnerable. Very learning on the spot.
Well, let's see what I can remember on the spot.
Nice.
I did not bring notes for this, so we'll see how well I know my job.
Perfect. We're both being tested.
Yes, exactly. So where should we start? The 5 categories, I guess, because that's how I always talk about it. Here's the big thing. I'll start at the very beginning before I go into 5 categories. There's a lot of people out there whose marketing plan is, the local newspaper guy walked in and had a special.
Yeah. Yep.
So I did that ad.
Yeah. Post on Facebook once a year.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Or my kid will post on Facebook, and then that happens like there's 10 posts and then nothing for 6 months.
Yeah. It goes to college.
Right. Exactly. Which is fine. I mean, it's marketing. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the local radio station calls and they get a special. And so, let's do that. So when we say strategic marketing plan, we mean setting a goal. Number 1, stage 1, step 1. What's your goal?
Yeah.
Right? Simple as we want to increase phone calls by 10%. Or we want 5 people to reach out to us for estimates.
Yeah. Something clear and attainable.
Yes. It doesn't need to be attainable.
Sure.
Challenge yourself if you want, but
Sure.
we need a goal. It can be, I would like $1 million in sales this month.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And depending on your business, that might be doable. It might not.
Yeah.
But if you're going to achieve it, you got to do the work to do it, right? Most people don't set that goal, though.
Yeah. Well, I think most people don't know what a realistic goal or not realistic goal, what a goal would be for them, because they're kind of focused on I just got to get through this day of business or sales or whatever it is.
Absolutely. And that is true for most small business owners, right? We're worried about we got to get the work done, right? And what I see a lot is then you end up in these peaks and valleys because you're slammed with work. And then all of a sudden you've been so busy working. Now we don't have any new jobs or customers because we just spent the last 2 months completing all that work.
Yeah.
Now we need to advertise, sales, marketing, outreach, whatever we're doing to bring new customers in, and we're scrambling and we don't have cash. And then all of a sudden, boom, back up. Got 20 new customers. We're rolling in the dough. And same thing. We forget to do that. So we want to set that goal, but we also want to have the strategy to execute that to even out those valleys. There's always going to be seasonality in pretty much every business.
Yeah.
But we need that goal first, right? So, and that could be a goal, a monthly goal, a quarterly goal, an annual goal. Preferably all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Ideally, we want to set all 3 of those, but that's step 1. Stage 2 then is we want to define our customer, like really know who is your target customer. I don't mean like it's an adult.
Yeah, man. Woman.
Adult female.
Yeah, it's a little
right,
non-specific.
Right. And where I would say I'm maybe a little different than a lot of people, or when we first start talking to customers, they look at me a little weird when I say, No, we want to get specific.
Yeah, give them a name.
Give them a name, yes. Yeah, like a specific age, like 34 and a half years old.
Yeah, that half is important.
Right? Exactly. Female that lives in this town, that does shops here. Do you know why we want to get very specific in the customer?
I would guess it has something to do with being able to tailor your marketing to that specific person.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I define that as specifically for digital marketing, right? That we can target very specifically on whatever platform we decide to advertise on. You're always going to reach a broad range outside of that target. Like,
sure.
No platform is going to target that specific person. But if we do go in and just say female 25 to 55 and we leave in the United States, and we leave that broad open, we're going to spend a lot of money to get to our specific 34-year-old female that likes to shop at these 3 stores.
Yeah.
Right? If we target that specific persona, like that 34-year-old female loves to shop here and has a home, is a homeowner valued at X, Y, or Z, yes, we can target that on certain platforms. We're still going to get a few 65-year-olds. We're going to get a few 22-year-olds because that's the way the platforms work. But we're going to be much more targeted, much more cost effective.
Nice. By
being specific with our customer. Now, most people have not thought about who is their actual ideal customer.
Yeah.
And which makes sense. Who does? Right? We're just serving our customer.
Anybody that can come in, I guess. Yeah.
Right? We're just serving our customer. Yeah. So that's what we're here for. So that's stage 2. Who are we selling to? Number 3 is where. Once we know who we're selling to, once we know what our goals are. I'm going to back up for a second. Hopefully you know what you're selling.
I feel like that's probably not something you should be helping them with, but you'd be surprised. Yeah.
I mean, you know me.
Yeah.
Every 90 days we go through what specific service are we selling?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we offer a wide range of services, so we do change our marketing for that service, right? And our target customer is different. If it's video content creation, our target market's different than building websites.
Yeah.
Right? We do both those, but our target or what we're selling is different, which creates a different target market. So you might have multiple strategic plans depending on what you're offering. So we have our goal. We have our persona, our ideal customer. Now we need to figure out where they are. Right? Fish where the fish are.
Yeah.
Right? And I love the fish where the fish are concept, because even when we're fishing, we don't necessarily know where the fish are today, right?
Yeah.
So we have an idea of where to start.
Yeah.
We can go out and look around and we start testing. And I think this is the biggest thing that I see when people do their own digital marketing or their own Facebook ads or their own Google ads, is they take the suggestions just from the platform.
Yeah.
And they go out and just throw $100 at it or $500 or whatever, and they don't see results.
Yeah.
They may even tighten up that target market. They may try and do specific headlines or whatever, but they don't see the results. And it's because you have to test. You have to run the A/B test. You have to test different headlines. You have to test different graphics against each other. And you have to have a budget for testing first, because you don't know how those results are going to happen.
I'm sure that can be kind of scary for a business. Like if I just want results, but having to have the patience to go through like a test of their marketing would be sometimes a little scary.
Yeah. Well, and you have to understand that, like, it's our job to explain that up front.
Yeah.
Right? Explain why we're going to do this, but also most people include myself included, run those tests way too long. Like, we're going to give it a 7-day test. No. No. If you're doing it right, 3 days is plenty. Run that for 3 days. If you don't have responses, cut it off and change something.
Yeah.
Change the headline, change the graphic, change something. 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? And do it at $20, $5 a day, run it for 3 days. That's $15.
Yeah.
Did you get a response? No? All right. Switch it up.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of digital marketing.
Yeah.
So we can fish fast, but it does take testing and being aware of the testing and actually watching it.
Yeah.
Right. So I said that was step 3, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Testing myself. I'm testing your recall.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
And let's throw AI in there because we're talking AI field growth. I love using AI to come up with these different A/B campaigns.
Nice.
So we can, when we have that persona, we have that goal, we can throw that into a ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and say, hey, can you write me some different campaigns for what's on here? And that's one of the spot that I think AI can really excel.
Yeah.
It really help move you forward. So number 4 is, we briefly touched on it, but it's analytics.
Yeah.
Review, compare against your goal, go back and forth.
Yeah.
Right? So we're fishing, we're hopefully getting some response, or we're getting analytics. Then number 5 is we need to respond.
Yeah.
Right? What is your system for responding to the people that respond to your ad, right? We need, if we're just collecting leads and we don't have a plan for follow-up, or I just talked to someone who they were following up within 3 days.
Okay.
And they weren't getting results. I'm like, why don't you have an autoresponder that says, thanks for reaching out, we will respond within 2 to 3 business days? Oh, we never thought of that.
Yeah.
Guess what happened to their response rate when they just had an auto response to the leads that will get back to you in 2 to 3 days? All of a sudden it went from 0 to 55%.
Nice.
Yes. Bringing AI back into this, that's the next level of what we're doing with AI is using it to automate these responses.
Yeah.
Right? It's not using it for brainstorming or for content creation. We're still definitely using it for that. But how do we create agents that automatically execute the systems on the things that are repetitive tasks that we do every day? We can automate that and build that out with AI in a controlled response fashion. Would we hit on time there? Felt like that was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
But I did say I want to be in that 10-minute range on podcasts because I know people are busy.
Nice. I think we hit it.
I think we did.
That's going to be really funny if we didn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, I think that all makes sense. I think there is a level of trial and error with that again, I think I'm sure some clients can be maybe weary of, but I think it's really important because there isn't just a quick fix for something like digital marketing. You really have to know, like you said, who you're marketing to and how to market to them and where they are. And so those things all take some time to discover. And so I think, I mean, if you're willing to put in a little bit of work and a little bit of money to do that trial and error, your marketing can be a lot better.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thanks for summarizing it.
You're so welcome.
I love it. Let's call it a day there and check out growthforgestudio.com.
Sweet.
Thanks.